I mean, it's just like it's just like if the NBA was like the playoff was just one game, we probably would not have the champions that we had ever for the remaining of the years and things like that, or baseball, like Major League Baseball. You feel me? If it was just one game just to win, man, bro, the storylines be different for a lot of teams right now. But yo, it'll be interesting though, man. Like shit, because and I think like when it comes to the Big Ten, like that has definitely been one of the best conferences this season. Because Illinois, they showed why they was a Big Ten team. They just don't play. Their record just don't show it, man.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
not just
teams
the
that
Penn
just in
State
the
game.
conference,
Illinois also beat Minnesota this past week. They,
for real though, I
yeah,
feel like man, I feel like the teams that don't have the best records in the Big Ten, if you was to put them in the Sun Belt or Conference USA,
yeah,
they'd be looking like the top teams right
yo, yeah,
now.
100%. They be tearing it
They
up.
look like top team, man.
Yeah,
I mean, we be looking different at Illinois. You be like, cause like folks be like, dang, Illinois is man, they some legends out here. You feel me? And they was in the Conference USA or Sun Belt, and then but in the Big Ten, you really couldn't see that they are legendary. You feel what I'm saying? Because it was just one of them games where Illinois had to show, okay, man, like we gotta show why we are a Big Ten program because we can't let them come in and just put up like 60+ points on us.
yeah, and
Cause
they
like,
played
bro,
great. I mean, their running back is nice. I think he had like 200 yards in that game. And
yeah,
yeah, I mean, even these Big Ten teams that aren't really football schools like Illinois, um, haven't been good for a while. Like they still get like some good recruits because they're in the Big Ten, and
right,
we seen that with Illinois. I mean, they have a really good running back.
for real, man. Like, and cause like, man, it's crazy too, man. Because we know this to be fact because Northwestern they was good last season, and like they just haven't like had their mojo this season to actually repeat that same success. You feel me?
Yeah, that was
It's like the Big Ten
Indiana
conference
too,
is just like, yeah, man.
and
And they was like looking like the teams that like to be real good next season, man. So it's like when you look at those two teams that started to finally be good, it makes you look at Kentucky and be like, man, like hopefully they can repeat that same recipe like they have in this season so far and actually have a good season next year, which I think they will. Now with the Big Ten, it just go to show you like how like the right game plan when you're playing certain teams matters to get the victories
yeah,
because like in college football it's all about the game plan to like actually get the victories over certain teams and everything. I think like teams like Indiana and Northwestern they just didn't have the right game plan to beat the teams this year like they did last season. You feel me? So it's
yeah,
like, but man, though, man, like if it's any teams I would definitely love to see like actually like change things up and like actually be good next season, I would love to see Illinois, Northwestern, and Indiana actually do well. So it can make it more interesting. You feel what I'm saying? Because Michigan State they came back and make it interesting in the Big Ten.
yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
I
And I
mean,
think they're gonna be excellent next year too. So
yeah, I love to see. I want to see competitive conferences. Like I don't want to see Ohio State just run through the conference every year. I want to see,
for real.
Michigan and Michigan State are up there this year. Penn State's been there a little bit, but not really. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to see like one of these smaller Big Ten uh, football programs do good, like Illinois or someone. And I'd love to see Purdue knock off Ohio State this year or this week. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I feel like man. I mean, once they do that, man, if they knock out Ohio State and they can actually win the rest of their games, because like when you think about the Big Ten championship, it's actually closer than a lot of folks think because the top teams in the in the Big Ten that only have like 3 losses or like less. You feel me? It's crazy because Minnesota is actually close.
Yeah.
Wisconsin actually close. They 6-3, even
Yeah.
though they haven't been looking like a 6-3 team. You feel me? But they actually right there. That's the crazy part about it.
Yeah. Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Purdue, they're all 3-6-3. So
For real
it's a
though,
tight
man.
race in
They only
there
like two
to make the
losses
Big Ten
behind.
championship out the Big Ten West.
Right. Because like, the teams that's like the teams that can actually win the Big Ten, you feel me? It's either gonna be between like Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Purdue, or Iowa, because Iowa is 7-2.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you actually looking at like 8 teams that could actually win it, and they would need to count on the other teams to lose more games than the other. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a lot
that
like
would actually be a clean spread.
the Big Ten, also the SEC. Not really the SEC East because Georgia's got that locked down, but the SEC West, you got A&M, Bama, um, even Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, it's crazy. Auburn is in there, like how close it is right now.
Yeah, for real though, and like like Auburn, man, like they actually been quiet with their wins. You feel me? And it's
Yeah,
crazy because they actually close. I mean, if any team in the SEC that has like one loss, like that has like 2 losses, like Ole Miss or A&M or Auburn, they would need to count on the other teams that have like 1 loss or 0 losses to actually lose the rest of their games. And that's like less likely. But if that was to happen, that would be crazy, bro. That would be insane.
yeah. I look at like Auburn when they played Penn State earlier in the year. Like that was a good game, and I would love to see that rematch in a bowl game. Honestly, I think that would be a good game.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be crazy though, man. Like shit, because like it's a lot of rematches that could actually be played like this season. Like just to see like man, did they really beat them like clear? Because like some teams got some questionable wins, but you know, but a rematch, I would have. It was one rematch I would have loved to see if only one team, if only Kentucky had never screwed up with the last couple games they had. You feel me?
Yeah,
If only they had to beat Mississippi State. And I think the other team they lost to, man, they had to actually took care of business with them and actually won out and actually had and hoped for Alabama to lose a game. We could have actually got a Georgia versus Kentucky rematch. That's only if Kentucky had a ran the table the way they had the chance to do. That would have been an interesting rematch. You feel me? But
yeah.
man.
I just don't feel like Kentucky matches up that well against Georgia, like all around. Like I feel like Kentucky's quarterback has been playing good, but then Georgia just exposed him, and he just hasn't been the same since. So it's just
Yeah,
and
for
also
real
Chris
though, man.
Rodriguez, Kentucky's running back. I think he only had like 7 yards rushing in that entire Georgia game, which is
Yeah,
just crazy. I mean, 7 yards, and he was like a top running back in the SEC up to that point.
for real though. Yeah, man. Like, man, it's been an intriguing season for like a lot of teams, man. Because like for some reason I have a feeling like Georgia's gonna play like a different team in the SEC championship. I mean, because I don't feel like it would be Alabama to be in the SEC championship versus them. I feel like it's gonna be between Texas A&M. If it's any team that's not gonna be Alabama, if the Alabama was to lose, second game or third game, I feel like it would be between Texas A&M because I don't see them losing the rest of the season.
Yeah,
That would be
I
actually good.
I
That would
would
be a
love
good
to
game.
see an A&M Georgia SEC championship. Like I feel like that would be such a good game, and I mean, I think Alabama Georgia would also be a good game, but like I would really want to see Texas A&M versus Georgia.
For real. I mean, and besides, and also it'll be something different. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like also like it'd be good for Texas A&M because I mean this would be the first time they actually get to an SEC championship game, and it's gonna actually be good for TV ratings if they
Yep.
play against Georgia because like I mean what good way to end the SEC season for Texas A&M to win the rest of their games, and Alabama does have 3 losses before then, and Texas A&M plays Georgia. They do the unthinkable. They actually do win the SEC championship game, and probably still meet Georgia in the playoffs
Yeah,
again.
they'd put
And if
both
it
of
was
them
to
in.
beat them again, that'd be crazy, bro.
Yeah. Crazy thing is,
That'd be
they'd
crazy.
probably have a rematch if that were to happen. Well, yeah, they'd probably. It depends if they'd still put Georgia at 1 after that, which it could happen.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I mean,
based
it
on the
could
way
be a
Georgia plays.
rematch, like literally the next game, a 1 versus 4, because Texas A&M would still
Right.
have the 2 losses, so they'd probably put them at 4. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would be crazy
So
if we seen
like,
a
yeah,
rematch right after the SEC championship again.
I know, man. Like that would be like a whole story for that'd be like a whole success story for Texas A&M if they could win the rest of their games. Alabama lose like 2 or 3 games before then, so it's between Georgia and Texas A&M the SEC championship game, and Texas A&M does somehow make it to the playoffs, and like it's like the 4 brackets between Cincinnati, Georgia, Texas A&M. I think yeah. So if Oregon win the rest of the game, they might be the 4th team, 3rd team, or whatever. But there are some other teams in there too, or even Oklahoma State. They
Yeah,
all they gotta do is beat Oklahoma.
I mean, yeah, if
That's
Oklahoma
all
State beats Oklahoma twice in the regular season and in the Big 12 championship, then I think they got to get in.
for real.
It's
And that
crazy
and,
how
and
many
look,
teams, like usually at this point in the season we kind of know who the 4 teams are going to be, but like it's just crazy this year like how many different like combinations of these teams could get in.
for real, man. Cause like
Like could we I
it's
would love to
crazy
see a
too, man.
playoff of, I mean, Georgia would probably make it, but and then just put Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, and then like Michigan State or someone, like just something different, like get a couple new teams in there. I would just love to see that.
For real. For real. This is the reason why I say like it needs to be like it literally needs to be like an 18 playoffs at
It
least.
would be so
They need to
entertaining, and
like do
I
that.
think that would only help. Like, what they care about most is like the TV ratings and the money and stuff. I think it would only help that. Like, I mean, people love the college basketball 64 team tournament. It's like one of the biggest sporting events of the year. I think expanding the playoff is only helps with that.
Man, for real though. Because like I mean if you do an 18 playoff bracket, you definitely gonna get more ratings because like, Michigan, Michigan, like the top 8 teams right now, you feel what I'm saying? You got like Michigan State, Cincinnati, Michigan, all them. If you had the 18 bracket, that's gonna bring a lot of TV ratings in. And then like,
Yeah.
in order to bring like more people interested in the sport, I mean, Oklahoma State been having a great season. So like, they get in the playoffs. That's gonna make people want to watch it even more. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
Because
think
like
having
that's the
a
reason
team
why.
like Cincinnati actually helps a lot too, because they're like, dang, a team like Cincinnati is in the playoff. Like, we got to see this.
Yeah, for real though,
And
man. And like they had to win all their games just to get there. Cause
yeah,
like one loss, man, they put them out the whole top 25.
they'd be dropped, man. It's crazy. Like they're really just on edge. Like every game, it could be the game.
For
Like
real, man.
their entire season. they've been working towards just goes away.
For real though. And then dog, like this, like it be so like the way that I think a lot of committees do be a lot of Alabama fans and Georgia fans though. For
Yeah.
real, on the low, I really think they is because I feel like Georgia can lose 3 games and they'll
Still
get in
be.
Alabama.
I mean,
Bro, Alabama can
they
lose three
they
games.
they really set themselves up good. Like, and I see right through what they be doing with these rankings. They put a 3-loss Mississippi State team at like 18 last week, and then there's talk about how Alabama beat number 18 by 30. You know, like,
Yeah,
but they got 3 losses. They put them in there at 18. And I mean, it would be fine this week if it was a 3-loss team, but that was like the first rankings, and they were ahead of a lot
yeah.
of 2-loss teams.
Shit, even the undefeated road runners too, they was ahead
Yeah,
of them.
they didn't even rank them last week.
For real though,
That's
man. Cause
crazy.
like, man, like, and like, yo, let me tell you something, man. Like, because like, yo, man, cause like we never really had like an Oklahoma State national champions in quite some time. We ain't had Michigan State in quite some time.
Yeah.
We haven't even had, Michigan. You already know Harbaugh needs a national championship. Like he been trying to do that since he
He
got
needs to
there.
beat Ohio State this year, man. He hasn't done that either.
Yeah, so that's gonna be good if he
Yeah.
do that this year. If Purdue beats him, that's gonna put more pressure on Harbaugh and the Wolverines to actually show up and actually beat Ohio State. So that way it looks good. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it looks good for him, and it actually gets to prove why, okay, he did make a good decision to come to college instead of leaving the NFL, where he had something good with San Francisco.
He did.
Like he had something amazing with them, bro. Like he turned that team around to a championship team. They was so close to winning the Super Bowl,
They were
and then
close
after some people
with Colin
retired, bro.
Kaepernick.
For real though, son. And like I think like after he made the decision to go to Michigan Wolverines, because like he was winning so much, he feel like he could just make any team good.
Yeah.
That kind of made everybody on 49ers retire in their prime of their career. You feel like Patrick Willis and all them, because like everybody was having like Hall of Fame seasons, even the cornerbacks. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Carlos Rogers and all them dudes. So it's like Harbaugh with Michigan, man. Like he definitely need that win on Ohio State. If he does get in the playoffs this season, that's gonna bring a lot of TV ratings for sure, because the whole storyline gonna be like, okay, can he get it done? Can his team actually get it done for him?
He's got to get it done at Penn State this week first.
Yeah,
So that's the first step.
for real, man.
Beat Penn State. Next step, beat Ohio State. Then win the Big Ten championship game, and they'll get in. And then, yeah.
Yeah, man. Because like I think, because the Big Ten championship game, if Michigan State wins out, and they have if they go out with if they get into the Big Ten, that's gonna be a good ass rematch, because they get to have their revenge game in the same season. And if Harbaugh does beat Michigan State, in that revenge game, okay, now he had a redemption. He had 2 redemptions in one season, because he got the Ohio State losses he needed. You feel what I'm saying? He took care of Penn State, and it's crazy though, son, man. I see why they've been saying the college football season is crazy in that format. It's like you had to look at this one much deeper than you did in 2007.
Yeah.
Because even though teams been kind of sitting in the same spots for remainder of the season, it's actually more closer than what a lot of folks actually think when you put some thought into it.
Yeah, because there's so many different combinations. Like, there's so many teams that still have a chance to make the playoff this year. And it's crazy being this deep into the year that we still have that many teams.
For real, man.
And 2007, I mean, there was always someone jumping up. Like a team would get upset, and then a team would jump up, and they'd be like, "All right, we know who is going to be in the championship game now. This team's not going to get upset because the last 3 number ones already got upset, and then it happened again." But
For real.
yeah,
Because, like, you had Texas Tech being the number 1 team back in 2007, man.
yeah,
They ain't had been number 1 in years, bro. We
yeah.
talking about like a previous decade.
Even my team, WVU, we were number 2 in the nation going into that last game, and
For real.
number
man.
1 and number
That
2
was a
because
big East,
Missouri was number 1, we were number 2, and we both lost last game
Yeah,
of the year.
man. That was crazy, bro.
And
And that
man,
was crazy too because they was in the Big East Conference, a conference that wasn't even, favored by the committees way back then. So they was like they had to win all their games. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah, we were. Oh
So it's
my
like
gosh, that is so heartbreaking. It's like,
for real, son. I mean, you can only imagine, bro. Like that would have been a crazy story back then. A Big East team winning the whole national title. It makes every team in the Big East look good.
that would have been
Syracuse
the
look good.
ultimate championship game right there. Missouri versus West Virginia, 2 teams who never make it. Like
For real. Bro.
yeah, WVU, we made 1 college football championship game in the 80s, and we lost to Notre Dame, but that's the only one we ever been to.
Dang.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's like long. That's like ice ages ago too, man.
yeah, my dad
see,
tells
I
me about it. I wasn't born, but actually, our quarterback at the time, I met him before. I got his autograph. Major Harris, man, was a beast.
Oh yeah.
I watched many of his highlights.
Man, that's what's up right there.
Yeah, he's always around the community. I've met him before. He's awesome. He led us
to
our program's first undefeated season, and we lost to, well, not completely undefeated because we lost in a championship game, but undefeated up until the championship.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, man, like, man, like, I tell you this, like, they actually bring, like, the 8 team, I feel like with the conferences, man, like, speaking of conferences, man, like, it's funny, man, because, like, it's like when it comes to, like, certain teams that they put in a different conference and never made a difference, like, okay, they put Rutgers and Maryland in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It didn't really do anything for them, man.
Nothing.
Like, it didn't make a change.
It only hurt those teams.
For real, though. And it's crazy, too, man, because, like, Maryland, it was in the ACC before then. And, I mean, other teams were just looking better than them in football because they was, like, a good team by themselves when they had Vernon Davis and all them. But, when it came to, like, Miami and Georgia Tech during those eras, they was, like, the top 2 teams in the ACC back then. And, like, they made Maryland look, average. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like you put Maryland in the Big Ten, it didn't do much because Ohio State make them look average. I would make them look average.
Yeah, I mean it's just I'm excited about the new Big 12 because we got Cincinnati coming in. It's rumored Memphis might join soon. But yeah, I'm tired of WVU having to go to Texas every other week. It's too far. Why are we in the Big 12? Like, it made no sense. We should have been joined the ACC.
Exactly, because it makes sense because, them having Virginia Tech, Virginia Cavaliers, you feel me?
Pitt.
That makes more sense for, like, conference rival games anyway.
Yeah.
And then
our 2 biggest rivals are in the ACC, Pitt and VTech.
Yep.
So,
I mean, see, it's crazy too because like the conferences way back then kind of like made more sense, because we had Texas A&M lead the Big 12, which I never understood why because it was like perfect for them and Nebraska being the Big 12 because you had
Missouri,
classic Nebraska games.
And who else? Colorado. They all 4 left.
Right.
Yeah.
that'll be actually good for the they should have those teams come back in the Big 12. You know,
It just makes more
based on how it
sense.
looks
Yeah.
now, you know that. I mean, man.
And now Texas, Oklahoma is going to be in the SEC. We got BYU joining the Big 12. So it's like West Virginia is going to have to go to Utah every other year. Like, it's
Yeah,
just crazy. I mean,
that's
the
like a whole.
geographic of the conference, whatever I'm trying to say, but just doesn't even matter anymore as far as these realignments.
Yeah, it's like they trying to make things more interesting than before. I mean, like on the good side is at least Cincinnati going now. If they do keep up winning, you know, and they end up being the Big 12,
Yeah.
they'll get some favoritism going in. Now that they are in a Power 5 conference, you feel what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, and you said BYU was like rumored to join the Big 12 too.
They're going to.
Yeah,
BYU,
so they join.
Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida are all joining in the next few years.
Yeah,
So
I can definitely
even
understand
Florida,
Houston
we
being
got a
there.
Florida team going to go to Utah every other year. Like, that's just crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be an interesting twist right there. That's like because usually when teams travel that far to a whole nother area, that's like usually with bowl games. You
Yeah,
feel what I'm
that's
saying?
like
Like
we
you
got
know,
teams all around the map in the new Big 12.
yeah, for real though, man. Like because like that would be something just to have like you know Central Florida actually being a top team in the Big 12. And like soon as they get there, just have like a whole new twist and like it gets a whole lot of TV ratings. You feel what I'm saying? And then like Oklahoma go to the SEC, they don't do too well as most people would thought they did. You know, that would like have a whole storyline by itself to be like, man, they should have stayed in the Big 12 after this.
Yeah.
But man,
I mean,
you know,
it's rumored WVU and Notre Dame might join the ACC together. I really hope that happens. I would love for that to
yeah,
happen.
that makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah.
Because Notre Dame and Boston College, they always fight for that Ireland Trophy all the time. So
Yeah, and Notre Dame,
you
they
know,
got a
that makes
rival with Wake Forest, I think, too.
Yep.
Yeah,
And,
I
and
mean, it would
that
make a lot of sense. I mean, I really would like to see that happen.
for real though, man. Because and speaking of Wake Forest, man, like yo, man, I tell you, man, if they can get if they can be a balance on defense and offense, man, like
They need a
bro,
defense.
they're gonna be
They need a
they're
defense
gonna be
desperately.
team.
Because that
Yeah,
quarterback they
that's
got
gonna
is nice. And their receivers,
be the show.
yeah, they're nice. And I think they're all probably going to be back for next season. They just need to get a
Yeah,
defense
man,
in there because, I mean, North Carolina dropped 50 on them. Army dropped 50 on them. They don't even pass the ball.
Yeah,
So,
they put 56 on, man. They put 56. That was like a basketball game though.
yeah.
In March Madness, it like 70-56. You can only imagine. I know Army basketball team's probably good, but football, man, like if they could put 56 on you, man, that'd be concerning for an ACC team.
Yeah.
You feel me? 'Cause, I mean, but then, I always be looking like with like different outcomes of games, like I like when top teams like have a shootout with like unranked teams like Army or something like that. Everybody would be pointing the finger, and be like, man, I don't know if Wake Forest is a legit team, but then you gotta look at like, okay, well, Army probably is better than what they probably better than what their record been showing.
Yeah.
They probably just match up well with Wake Forest to put up that many points. I think because the team, because like they struggled, they couldn't even do that with I don't know, like Army or Navy played Cincinnati.
I think Navy.
Yeah.
Navy played Cincinnati.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I gotta see who Army played, cause like that
The Army
'Cause, like,
beat
they done put
Air
56 points.
Force this last week, and Air Force was doing pretty good in the Mountain West. That's another Mountain
Yeah,
West team like we were talking about earlier. It's just been good this year.
yeah. Cause like I see, like yeah, man. Cause like Army, they play Air Force. Like they couldn't do the same thing. They did Wake Forest, and like you look at that game, it's like
Yeah,
so it just goes to
them
show like a lot of
academy
teams.
games, they come to play for those. The Army Navy game especially, and then Army Air Force, like they come to play with
Right.
each other. They're not gonna let either team's
Yeah,
not gonna
ain't
be
gonna be
putting
no
up
sketchy
50. They're playing hard. They ain't gonna let that happen.
for real. And
Those
you know
games
it's
mean
crazy
something
too,
to
man.
them.
Yeah, cause like yo, if you look closely, man, like to like the games, like this is interesting here, cause like Wisconsin, they held Army to 14 points,
Wisconsin's
and
got a
Wake
good
Forest they only
defense.
they. It's crazy though, man. It makes you look at all these games and be like, man, some teams could have put up more points if they wanted to, but
Yeah,
they just wanted to play some defense. And
it's
then
crazy how many
that'll be a good.
teams this year like could be so good if they just had a either an offense or a defense. Like if you put Wake Forest as
Yeah,
offense with Wisconsin's defense, because that would be a crazy
man.
team.
Yeah, that would, man. Shit. Cause like that boy, that'd be scary though, man. Like Wisconsin actually having Wake Forest offense and with their already like stacked defense.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Ohio State might as well quit. They might as well quit next season. They might as well quit, boy. You might as well give Wisconsin the championship already, man.
shit,
Because Georgia would have a competition.
they'd still have Ohio State favored by 17.
Yep. Man, like speaking of like two teams that play Army very different, man. Like Wake Forest and Wisconsin, that'd be an interesting game there too, because you got defense versus offense. That'd be a good
That's
bowl game.
a lot like the Texas A&M Ole Miss game we're about to see. I can't wait for that. Ole Miss got
Oh yeah,
high-powered
for,
offense. Texas A&M got a real good defense. It's gonna be entertaining.
for real, man. Like that, and that's an interesting game right there. That's like one of those that's like everything on the line right there because they both got the same record.
Yeah, they got
Um,
lot to play for still.
for real though, man. Like and it's interesting too because I like Ole Miss is like one of those teams I actually wanted to see actually have a surprise season, a good season, like actually top it off with an SEC championship at least because they look very good with Matt Corral at quarterback and you
He's a
know
beast. That Tennessee
and just
game, man, he almost had 200 yards rushing, and like none of them
right.
were quarterback design runs. He was scrambling.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
man. I tell you though, man, and that's gonna be another team in the SEC that would definitely be like very, very good next year. Ole Miss is close.
A lot of their defense is going to be going to the draft this year.
Yeah,
So
man. Like,
they're going to have a new team next year. Georgia is, at least defensively, which is what's the best part of their team is.
for real, man. And man, I tell you though, man, man, that's why I'm saying, man, this whole season, like when you look back at all the games, like all these teams played, like from like Mississippi, Texas A&M, Wisconsin, like they all show like they can actually be like a championship like team if they just have that. If it's just like either one to get a good offense to match the defense, or get a good defense to match with the offense, or just simply, you know, play to their full potential. Because there's some teams that do have both, but they just don't really like play beyond their competition.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like
And then you
I
got
feel
teams
like
like even Nebraska, who's 3-7 now, who's just always plays up to their competition, just never gets it done.
Right.
Like they played Oklahoma close. They played even Ohio State close. I'm trying to think who else they played. Michigan State they played close. Just everyone good that they've played. They've been right there in it with them. But then they play teams like not so good, but they kind of play down to their competition. Like it's always a close game with Nebraska.
Yeah, because like, yeah, they play close. They play close with Purdue. They play close with Ohio State, and
Yeah.
it's like they did those the teams they almost beat, like Michigan, Purdue, and Ohio State. You know, it clearly they show like they could actually be a very,
I
very
really
great team.
hope they do not fire Scott Frost as their coach because there's a lot of rumors saying he's on the hot seat and stuff. But like, I think it would be so dumb considering how close he's played all these teams, and they could be very easily be 7-3 instead of 3-7 if just
For real,
a few things went his way. Like, and I think
man.
they
They
should bring him
almost beat
back if they
Oklahoma.
get some more recruits in there. Like, they could really do something.
Yeah, man. Like, cause they almost beat Oklahoma earlier this season. They
Yeah,
almost beat Michigan State. So yeah, it would
they've
be
been
crazy
right
to
there.
fire
They
him after
almost beat
that.
Michigan too. Purdue, Ohio State. Like, those 5 teams are all very good, and those are 5 of their 7 losses.
Right.
It's just
That's what I'm saying, man. If you put them in the Sun Belt, man, they be in,
Nebraska would be
they be,
undefeated in the Sun Belt. Maybe,
man, like
definitely
they be
no
looking
more
different right
than
now.
one loss if
For
they played
real
in the
though,
Sun
man.
Belt. Like, the
For
Raging
real, man.
Cajuns might be the only shot at beating them.
Yep. And it's interesting too, man, because like, you know, that's how it just proves like how the Big Ten is just and it's just really, really good. They're just a really good conference, man. Like, you know, every team ain't really that bad when you think about it. When you look back at all their games, you feel me? Like
Yeah,
it's just man, bro. Like in Nebraska, they was originally a Big 12 team. I mean, if they put them back in the Big 12, man,
they would have a winning
I mean
record
that, bro, they
for
be
sure.
looking crazy right now, son. They be
Because
looking crazy right now.
you look at a team like Kansas State, they're like 5-3. Like, if they played right now, I'd pick Nebraska. I think that they'd win.
Yeah, man. Like because like it's just man, like that's how you know this season is just like you know insane. Like because everybody look at how these teams with the losing records, but you look back at the highlights they played to be like, man, if they had not did this, they be looking at a better record right now. It's just
Yeah,
and like Kansas State, you know, that's another good football team too. Is just you know the other teams that's like ranking the Big 12 now, they just showing they been a little bit better. Just man, bro, it's crazy though, man. Like this season has been one of the most like edge of the seat seasons like since like 2007 for real, and that's like the
yeah.
third time I said it because you know Houston, like if they actually been undefeated right now, you know they be in the same conversation with Cincinnati, be like if only they had to win out,
It would come down
if
to
they can
that
win out.
conference championship game. Like, if they were both undefeated, that would be crazy. And I really wish that Houston was undefeated because I'd love to see that. It's still going to be a great
Yeah, man.
game, but I just wish that they were
Yeah,
both
that gonna
undefeated.
go down to the wire for sure.
Yeah.
That's gonna go down to the wire, man. Cause the way Houston program has been, man, like they turned a lot of things around.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
hired WVU's old coach, Holgerson.
yep,
He's been
man.
he's
I'll
been
tell you
doing all
this,
right
man.
down
Like,
here. I didn't like him. I didn't like him. I,
man, I'll tell you this, man. Like, you know, if Cincinnati goes to the Big 12, like, you know, they gotta put Houston in the Big 12 too, and that's gonna be good because Texas Tech, Houston, Texas Longhorns. You
Yeah.
know, that's like a good Texas rivalry games right there.
Yeah. I mean
So
TCU, Baylor, all that, all them.
so like I if you put them in the Big 12, man, like bro, that's gonna be like that's gonna be amazing like every season because like and then and then of course you're gonna have like people from like from across the country want to come see them play because Houston is like a high attraction city.
Yep.
Like it'll attract like almost everybody. So you put them in the Big 12, which is a very famous conference in football. So you might even have celebrities come to the game.
Yeah. You have a
You
national
know, especially if they
uh,
win.
airport there, so very easy to get to the game.
For real, and that's gonna be good TV ratings too. So, like I mean, if they did that, man, like it's gonna be like Galaxy's limit. It's gonna be beyond Galaxy limit with Houston, man,
Yeah.
because man, like that's another team. That's another team that be like that you look at and be like, man, if it wasn't for that one loss, bro, they be close right now, man.
Yeah.
I actually would love to see them in the Big 12 just to see how they will play against Oklahoma State and like all these close games and like with the rest of the conference that been there for like ages and all that.
Yeah.
So it's like man, like at the end, man, like it's just like man this season, man, and then you look at teams like North Carolina State, man. It's probably been like the best season they had in such a long time since Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
So they haven't been good since him. And like the two losses they had, if they had to took care of Benz and won them, you'll be looking at them as a top 10 team right now.
Yeah. They it sucks
It's
thinking about
crazy.
NC State too because their losses are just to teams that they definitely should have beat, and
For
it's just
real,
crazy.
dude, right? It was like them having a whole plate of nachos in their hand with a whole bunch of Philly cheesesteaks. Like all they had to do was just take it home and like they had a victory, son.
Yeah.
But they dropped the nachos, man.
Facts, man.
They dropped the nachos, bro. Like and like it seems like they just a team. They hard team to beat at home because they 5-0 at home, but on the road they just couldn't get it done. They
Yeah.
couldn't get it done with the two teams they should have beat. But man, though, man, because like this, like if we go off, if because we looking at the two teams in the ACC like North Carolina State and Wake Forest, so they keep playing the way they play. They actually gonna be the top two teams in that conference next season going in because like they ain't got to worry about Clemson because Clemson all they got is their defense. Their offense ain't really been like they ain't really been hot like that since DeAndre Hopkins and Jacoby Ford, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, all them dudes left
Yeah.
before.
They got
They
some
ain't been
stars
hot like
coming
that.
out of there, man.
Yeah, it's crazy
It's
though.
crazy.
It was just imagine though. It would be good to see actually Wake Forest, North Carolina State, and Clemson just being even Miami, man. Even Miami, if they could if only they, you know, take care of business, actually play to their full potential.
Yeah.
Like those four teams right there battling for the ACC title, that'd be crazy though.
I mean, yeah,
That'd be crazy.
Pitt. I thought that they had a real shot at making the playoffs if they just won out. Even with that first loss to, man, I don't even. Oh, they lost to Western Michigan earlier in the year. Like even with
They,
that loss, I
yeah,
thought that they could make the playoff if they win out the way they've been playing, and because they got one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Like, I thought that they
Yeah,
could do it, but then they lost to Miami, and I was like, man, that's just crazy. Like, it's like almost everyone but Georgia you think like is getting up there, and then they just lose. Like
for
as
real,
soon as
man. Cause
Michigan State got up there into the top four, they just lost to Purdue.
yeah, cause like yo, check this out, man. Cause like Pittsburgh, they like in overtime right now with North Carolina,
Are they?
30-23.
Hold up, I gotta pull this up.
Yeah, they literally like in overtime with North Carolina. And North Carolina is one of
My
the teams
goodness.
that just confusing. They've been confusing this whole year because
Well, I was watching that
they showed
game.
they could play against top teams.
I was watching that game, like what right before I hopped on stream, and Pitt was up like 23 to 7
23-7
or something. Yeah, I was like, all right, this game's over. I'm good to stream.
for real. It's crazy too, man, because like the way North Carolina will always like play, they always they play good against ranked teams, you know. But it's just like they kind of, I think if they get a defense that can hold teams under 20 points with the way they can put up points and all that stuff
Yeah,
or keep up, like they'll actually look really good though. So, but I still see them being like one. I see them being like the sixth best team in the ACC.
yeah,
But Pittsburgh, they actually got a scare win over North Carolina, man, like 30-23 OT.
did
So
they end
like
up winning?
Pittsburgh, they survived. They survived though. But it's crazy
Damn.
though. I would have liked to see Pittsburgh in the playoffs this year because that's like a former Big East team.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Um, I'm probably gonna hop off the stream here in a little bit. I just want to say something real quick though. It's crazy how like the season's been going, because at the beginning of the year, if you would have said like the top teams in the ACC were like Wake Forest, NC State, and Pitt, people would be like laughing so much, because we really came into the year talking about Clemson's got it, and their only real competition is about to be North Carolina. And maybe
Yeah,
Miami. Miami was probably third.
yeah, and then whole thing just like flipped, man. Like teams starting to have different game plans.
Yeah.
Just be able to finally beat the teams that was on top for for the last decade. You feel what I'm saying? That just goes to show college football is all about game plan. Because like, I mean, shit, man. I mean, San Antonio Roadrunners, they finally having an undefeated season, all because they finally figured out how to beat teams that they would usually lose to most of the time. They found out how to beat them.
Yep.
It's just like Baylor. They finally got it back together again to actually start winning. And, like, they found out a better game plan and all that stuff. But, man, this whole season, man, like, the rest of the season, it's going to be interesting to see who actually wins, like, the conference championships, because it ain't like an instant, like, runaway as, like, most people thought it was.
Yeah, like
I mean, except
most
for the
years,
SEC.
it's pretty easy to predict at this point in the season, but not this year.
Yeah, man, because like for the ACC, it could be like a toss up. Big Ten, it could be a toss up who's gonna win the SEC, not the SEC, but win their conference. That'd be crazy though if Purdue actually win the Big Ten. If other teams that's ahead of them actually lost the rest of their games, and it's a Big Ten championship between Purdue and whoever has the 3 loss with them, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be crazy, bro.
I think
Because
if they expand the playoff to 8 or 12, whatever it is, they need to make it to where every conference champion is a lock, and every undefeated team is a lock.
yeah, they need to do that for real.
I think that would be great for the sport, because like that gives like fans of so many teams just like more hope that that they could win. Like this could be their year.
Yep.
and that just like
Exactly, man.
draws in more
Cause I
fans.
be
It's
trying to
just
see good games. Yeah, cause I be trying to see like new champions, like
yeah,
like each year, man. Cause
and it
like
may not happen the
I mean,
first couple years. Like we get like a say if there's like a 18 playoff, like a 6 or 7 seed win the championship. It may not happen the first couple years, but it will eventually happen, and it would be just amazing to see.
oh yeah, for sure, man. Cause like, bro, like let me tell you something. Like, I mean, we ain't saw this in like quite some time. Like, just imagine Purdue Boilermakers being the Big Ten conference champions, and you know they be the team to beat.
Yeah,
You feel what I'm saying? I mean, it was like one year where there was actually like a top 20. There was like a top 15 team. That was like beginning. That was like beginning 2005 season. That's like the year when Vince Young and the Longhorns won the national
yeah.
title.
And did Purdue
You
go
know,
to the
Purdue had
Rose
a
Bowl
good
that
shot.
year?
Yeah,
I think so, or
yeah. So
a
like,
bigger
I
bowl
think
game. I'm not sure if it was the Rose or not.
yeah, like the Rose Bowl, it was between USC and Vince
Oh,
Young.
that was the championship game. Was the Rose Bowl that year?
Yep.
Okay.
I think
I'm pretty sure
yeah, I
Purdue
think
went to a bigger bowl game around that time.
yeah, I
But
forgot who they played around there because I know they started the season off like 15 number ranked. They was ranked number 15. Louisville's ranked number 8 back in 2005.
yeah,
Like, and that was back in the Big East and all that. So Louisville had to be winning all their games to be ranked that high back then.
yeah,
So I think if it's gonna be a whole new era of Purdue football, it would be like the remainder of this season, which I do think they can win the rest of their games. They have a good shot. They have a great shot at
if
that.
they beat Ohio State, then I think they win. They win out.
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's gonna be different right there. That's gonna be different and be good for the sport because you know when the Big Ten, you always see Ohio State win the Big Ten
Yeah, and then
like
at
every
that
year.
point, Ohio State's gonna have 2 losses. They still gotta face Michigan and Michigan State.
Yeah,
So yeah, it'd be
and
crazy.
those are definitely it's crazy too because Ohio State actually, when it comes to this, like when you look at these teams like Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, you know, it's like Ohio State is like actually on. They actually have more pressure than those teams because for one, they gotta show like why they're still the top team in the Big Ten. While
Yeah,
Michigan State, okay, they had their loss versus Purdue, so now it's like, all right, let's just win the rest of our games and like we can actually play our football now. Michigan Wolverines, all they got to do is win against Penn State and win against Ohio State, and shit, they ain't got nothing to worry about.
yeah. I don't think this Ohio State team is really that good. Like I think that they're gonna drop one of these games, whether it's Michigan, Michigan State, or Purdue. I just the way they played Nebraska close last week, and they lost to Oregon earlier in the year. But other than that, like we talk about Oklahoma haven't really played anyone this year, but Ohio State, other than Oregon, which they lost to, they haven't really played in any top teams.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't even think of what their best win is.
yeah, you talking about Ohio State?
Yeah. Oh well, Penn State
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess is their best win, but that was just a couple weeks ago, and it was close. It was a good game. I mean,
yeah. Because most wins they got, they were just like winning by 45 points or more against a lot of teams. You
yeah.
feel what I'm saying?
I mean, they
So,
haven't really
but
played anyone, but they did what they were supposed to do, which is just blow them out. And
yeah,
Oklahoma
damn,
hasn't
but
been doing that. They've been playing these teams they should be blowing out close.
yeah, I think for Ohio State, I think it's definitely like they definitely at a disadvantage for like the last 3 games because like they got to play Purdue, Michigan State, and Michigan for the last 5 games. It's definitely their games to lose.
I
So
think
it's
they're gonna
like,
lose one of them.
yeah, I mean, I'll be shocked if they won all of them though.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
if
they
they do win all of them, they had to show they basically had to show like okay, like they probably found something within their team to make them much better, But I don't see it. I don't see it. This is like one of the Ohio State teams that's kind of like just a little bit overhyped for me. You feel what I'm saying? Like I
yeah, I
mean,
just don't think like they have the Ohio State defense that they usually do. They're a great
yeah, cause
offensive
like
team, but
yeah, cause like man, the years when Ohio State was like a total legit team. You know what I'm saying on offense and defense. That was like in the year when they had Ted Ginn Jr. and all of them,
yeah,
Chris Gamble. The year when they played Oregon with Cardale Jones and all them. Now those Ohio State teams,
yeah.
they was legit.
Zeke
I mean, if you
Elliott,
put them against exactly, bro. Like those were like legit Ohio State teams.
yeah,
You feel me? So, like this one though, I mean, with Stroud at quarterback and all, like I don't really
yeah.
believe in them like that. You feel what I'm
One
saying?
thing I've noticed about this season, which I think is kind of what's making it crazy, is there's no Joe Burrows, Trevor Lawrence's, um, Tua's, like no one like that. There's these top quarterbacks, even Justin Fields, Cardell Jones. Like, there's not the top teams don't really have like great quarterbacks. I mean, you could
Yeah,
say
that's the
Bryce
interesting part
Young,
about
but
it. 'Cause
I don't. I'm still not all that sold on Bryce Young because the way he
I'm
played
not either.
against A&M, he showed that he doesn't play all that great under pressure.
Yeah, because like I mean that's fact though because like you know I mean if you put Bryce Young on like teams like in the Sun Belt, he probably would not be looking that good though. I mean he
Yeah,
only looking that good because of like the offensive line and at Alabama and like the wide receivers and the
he's got a
defense to
stacked
carry them
team.
out.
Yeah,
So they had that dude. They got like they basically had recruits for like fucking they be having recruits on top of recruits, man. The depth chart is like 25 stars in.
yeah, it's crazy.
so it's like,
Um,
so it's like they never really had like quarterbacks to stand out to me. So it's like for this whole season, teams that been so good, it's because of their defense and they had like a high powered running back, high powered wide receivers that stand out to me. You feel
yeah,
me? So it's like because like the previous years, like you said, it was like the quarterbacks doing all the work. But
exactly. Like, I mean, even what was it the year LSU won the championship? We had Justin Fields, Joe Burrow, and Trevor Lawrence all in the same playoff. Like,
yeah,
it was the last couple years. It's been just the year of quarterbacks, really. And
right
last
now,
year, last
and then
year it was
now
the
it's just
same. I mean,
like
Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, they both went to like 3 straight playoff appearances.
yeah.
And
And then it's just like now it's like the year of like a balanced team, like a team that just got the best of both offense and defense. So it's like
yeah,
which is like actual real football. Like a team is like good, a team that's great on offense and defense. That I think that's the teams that makes like a true dynasty. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like
yeah,
you could actually see certain teams like actually be like teams that look like they could win like 2, 3, or 4 in a row. If they keep up the same, that means like teams that have like a great defense, a great offense, like that's balanced from like their freshman year to like senior year. They look like they could win like 4 straight, which
yeah.
I don't think we never I don't think we never had teams that win like 4 straight national championships in college
No.
football though.
The only ones I can
But we
think
have,
of that won two, I think Tebow has two with Florida, and I think Alabama's had a couple stretches where they've had two championships there, like within 3 years. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean that's kind of why I'm not too sold on like Clemson continuing their dynasty, because it just comes to mind that
yeah,
both their championships came with like an elite, like a top level quarterback. I mean, one with Deshaun Watson and one with Trevor Lawrence. And
yeah, because
they've had great defenses with those teams, but like it just kind of goes to show like I don't know if Clemson could have a team like Georgia's team this year where it's like all defense and then the offense just kind of manages the game and runs the ball.
yeah, yeah. When it comes to Clemson, I think they already had their run. And as
Yeah.
far as like being the clear number one team in the ACC, yeah, I think they already finished for like this decade because they did all that like with Deshaun Watson and all them. But yeah, I think the new teams in the ACC is gonna be like Wake Forest, NC State, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will be back. I mean,
Yeah.
they look at them last two losses they had, they be like, all right, we ain't gonna like have this type of season again. We gonna make sure we win everything.
Yeah. I
So
mean, that's what I look at. Teams who were very close but like just had a couple slip ups, like if they have a lot of their starters returning, they're going to be like we've been here before, and they have that experience to know that they can't have a letdown game. They just got to play every game like it's the one that means the most.
exactly. And look, check this out, man. Like, when I look at the Big Ten teams, like the Big Ten teams like Michigan State, like for the last remainder of their games, they have a better chance of winning out better than Ohio State does because for one, Michigan State plays Maryland. They're gonna win that game. Ohio State, what I'm saying? Ohio State, they probably gonna think it's like the same Michigan State team from previous years ago,
Yeah.
and that could be their downfall. Penn State, Michigan State is gonna be a good one, but I think Michigan State can actually win that game.
Yeah.
So now when we look at Michigan, you feel me? Like the remainder of their games is just Penn State, Maryland, and Ohio State, which is 3 winnable games.
Man,
They have
Maryland's
a
going to
better
get a
chance
beating at the end of this year.
for real though. I mean, it's just best to put Maryland back in the ACC, back where they was, man. I ain't never understood that.
I don't
in the
know why
first
they
place.
joined the Big Ten.
I know, like, I think the reason why they put them in the Big Ten probably because of like some like 5-star recruits that was coming out of high school and then committees was like, what if we could put these teams in the Big Ten and see if a difference it would have made, and we see it didn't really do anything, man. Because I mean, to be honest, I can't remember the only person I remember that came out of Maryland was Stephon Diggs, but everybody else, like, nobody was memorable.
Yeah.
Nobody won games. so it's like, yeah, man. Like when it comes to the Big Ten, who can win the whole thing, it's either gonna be between, in my opinion, it's either gonna be Michigan or Michigan State. You feel what I'm saying? They look like
Yeah.
the two favorites outside of Ohio State. But Ohio State is really the rest of their game. It's really a lot of their games to lose this season. Like for the last 3, because I don't think if they was to make the playoffs, man, it's gonna be like why the world they made it. You feel me? Like
Yeah. Man, I don't know who my favorite right now would be out of the Big Ten. It's just I would say Michigan State because I still think like that Purdue game was
yeah, for real.
I still
And
think like
Purdue,
Michigan State's like a great team and they shouldn't be knocked too much for that. But yeah, I would probably say Michigan State's still my favorite to win the Big Ten this year.
Yeah, cause like, and then you look at this, man. Like, Purdue's remaining games just Ohio State, Northwestern, Indiana, which is like winnable games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
like
if
outside
Purdue
of Ohio
can knock
State.
off Ohio State, they'll win out.
Yeah. So they'll be at 9-3. You feel what I'm saying? And
yeah, that's a good
it's
year
gonna
for
be looking
Purdue.
real good. For real though, man. For real though, man. Cause like,
I think I'm gonna get ready to end the stream here soon.
Yeah, cause like shit, we've been on that bug for like we've been talking for like 45 like hour or so.
Yeah, it's been a while. Like you brought up a ton of great topics, so I really appreciate you calling in because you really kept this stream going with some great topics. Man. So I appreciate that a lot. Because I don't have many viewers. I'm getting it started and we've been growing, but I appreciate you coming in here and talking with me for a while.
Yeah, man, shit, like it definitely was fun talking with you, man, for sure. Because like convos like these, man, it's just like especially when you talk about the teams that a lot of the committees overlook that are actually good, man. It's good to like have like actual like true football fans that like see actual good teams that's just like better than what they actually is. And it's just like, like, why nobody ain't talking about like Purdue? You feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I love talking about these teams that like you don't get to hear about on ESPN and stuff like that. They just don't talk about them that much.
For real.
So.
And like, look, let me tell you, that's the reason why I stopped watching ESPN when it comes to like like college football, because like they always gonna talk about the top teams.
Yeah.
That
the
they
money
favor,
makers, really.
Yeah, and they gonna act like those are the only teams that exist.
Yeah, they talk about their brand teams. That's what it is.
For real.
The Alabamas.
For real though, man.
Just ESPN was loving that 2019 LSU year because LSU's a big brand, and then they had a big year all of a sudden. Like, ESPN is all over that.
Yeah, man, for real. And let me tell you something too, man. Like speaking like one of the craziest games, like that could be an upset, like that most people ain't gonna think about, man. Like man, if you look at a team like New Mexico State, they play Alabama this week on November 13th. They played them this week, man.
Yeah.
It give me like Michigan versus Appalachian State type of vibes, because
I mean,
even
if
though
that
New
happened,
Mexico State,
that would be crazy. I mean, I'd love to see it happen,
yeah,
but honestly, I don't think it will. But because that Appalachian State Michigan game was like once in a lifetime type of game. And it's crazy how one game like that can really just transform an entire program, and got Appalachian State into FBS, and now they're winning Sun Belt championships. The past couple years.
Right.
So yeah, it's just crazy how their
program
got turned around, like from an FCS school, from just that one game.
For real, because I think in one year they was in the. Now I don't think they was never in the same conference with New Mexico Lobos. I don't think, but they was rivals before. They rivals, but I don't think they was in the same conference, which I never understood. But if New Mexico State does beat Alabama, then that'll be that's gonna be one of the biggest upsets in the whole season, because we never had a team.
It would be
that's like
one of the best upsets like in college football history if that happened.
For real though, and it looks like it could because I mean, me, I could see past that. I could see past the whole like 5-star recruit thing the Alabama thing got going on. But this ain't the best Alabama team we've seen, obviously.
Yeah.
Because if it's the time for them to be upset, it would be this year. Because this year,
I mean,
they
probably
look
next
pretty
year they'll
good.
be back. As they just take 1 year off and then they're back as the top team.
For real though, Sam.
They take 1 year
I
off and
mean,
then they're still in the top 5 on their year off.
yeah, for real though, man. Because like that, like, and then because like if New Mexico State does beat Alabama, this can help. This definitely gonna help Texas A&M if Texas A&M or Ole Miss gets a victory over each other this weekend,
Yeah.
and then Ole Miss or Texas A&M gonna be the number 2 team in the SEC instead of Alabama due to that loss in New Mexico.
Yep.
You feel me? So
I think
then you
Auburn
got
has the
another
better
game.
shot at doing that for Texas A&M because the Iron Bowl is always going to be a good game, and so you
Oh
can't
yeah,
ever
most
count out
definitely.
Auburn in the Iron Bowl, especially because they're going to be at home this year. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. They definitely got to win them because if Texas A&M could beat them, you feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
Then and then you got Auburn versus Crimson Tide. Auburn always seems to get the better of Crimson Tide when they are playing at home, anyways. I mean, it happened in the year when they was playing it when they won that game and got to the championship game with
that
Florida
was
State.
like
So
a crazy year for Auburn because I remember they were just finding ways to win, like in these miraculous ways, like week after week.
for real.
And
And then came to that last play that was like I think it looked like a field goal, but it just like missed the mark and went to the Auburn player. He took it all the way for a
yep,
touchdown,
it was just
which was
short.
crazy.
He barely got it because it was in the back of the end zone. Like he was like, almost gonna be out of bounds, and just took it
For real.
all the way.
Yeah, man. Cause like after seeing that, I could see why being a kicker would be like one of the hardest positions to play in football because you hardly ever be out on the field. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So when you get
hostile
moments like that,
environment too because you gotta think like it's a tie
absolutely.
game. In my opinion, I mean I'm sure like most people's opinion, the Iron Bowl is probably the biggest rivalry in college football, and you're out there
Oh yeah,
to kick a it. It was a long field goal, 50-some-yard field goal to win, and your team has championship aspirations because Alabama always does. So
yeah. And then like it just kind of narrowed out, and he just took it all the way to the house and got a touchdown.
yeah,
And what's crazy about it, man? Speaking of kickers, it's like, bro, like it's like we never really. The last time we had a kicker that had like a field goal record in one season, I think it was like 29 or 32 kicks,
yeah,
32 field goals in a season. It was like done by a Georgia kicker back in 2002, which is a lot of field goals. Now it'll be crazy if we actually had a kicker set a field goal record and they get like 49 in one season.
that would be
And
crazy.
like it was crazy about it. In order for that to actually happen, and a kicker actually does set a record to get 49 field goals, that means that team would have to be very good on defense. So every time the team does get close to like touchdown range, like they probably get the field goal kicker out and kick like however many field goals like in a game. So they get like 20 field goals in one game or 49. Man, that'd be crazy though,
That would
man.
be crazy to see a guy get 20
And we
field
talking about
goals
a
in a
season.
game.
And this is like for a season now. Now, if you get 49 field goals in a game, well, that would be crazy though, son. But like we
I
seen
don't
so
know
many
if that
crazy
could even
things happen.
happen. I mean, does the offense get the ball 49 times in a game? I don't.
For real though,
Yeah,
son.
it would have to be some
That would be
crazy
insane.
stuff. Like you'd have to stop your team like 3-and-out every time and get the ball back and then just kick it.
For real though. Cause like the one time, the only time I seen it happen when I was playing NCAA '06. I would always get stopped on defense. So like one time when I was running a Toledo dynasty, I try to make sure my kicker get a field goal record in the season. And I got like 49. I got 49 in one season. Where I was trying to like balance it out, try to get like the sack record and get like the quarterback record in one season. So only in the video game this is possible because like the coaches. It's like we really never really had any new record set in college football for a certain team because you know most of the coaches they just trying to get the team to get the victory and all that.
Yeah.
So it's like we rarely see wide receivers get like, well, they set the record for 700 yards in one game with like 23 to 30 receptions.
Dang. Yeah.
Like that'd be crazy though, man. And then plus it'd be crazy though because like it's gonna be hard to get like new records set because everybody gotta get touches on the ball.
Yeah.
And like the running backs gotta split the carries, the wide receivers gotta get the touches, tight ends gotta get the touches. So it's like, man, that'd be crazy though. But one thing would be the funniest thing to me is like it'd be funny to have Heisman candidates, but the team be like 4-4 or like fucking or like 3-7 and you the Heisman candidate and we got nobody.
You're out here
we got
breaking
nobody in Cincinnati.
college records, but your team just can't win.
For real though, I always thought about that.
I cannot wait for the new NCAA game to come out in a couple years. That shit's gonna be lit.
Yeah, man. Cause
and I'm probably have some YouTube videos playing the game for sure. I'm gonna make a series on Road to Glory, stuff like that.
Yeah, shit, that'd be good right there. That'd be good for the channel, and plus, like you already had so many cause like you could have a whole different you could have a different playlist that has the gaming NCAA.
Yeah.
And because like you already do like the college game reviews and everything too.
Especially like in the off season, it would be perfect.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Because like it's been a long way since we had a college football game. Cause
I cannot wait.
Man, because since then, like everybody just had to keep like updating the rosters on like computer software and like on NCAA 14 and get like the current teams up now. People had to do that back then. So when we get this new college game, that's actually gonna be good. It actually be good if we get the college football game and we do get a new 18 playoff bracket along with that. That's gonna really bring college football back. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So like shit, college. Yeah, cause like college football is like actually one of my favorite. It is one of my favorite sports to watch though.
I love college sports, college football, and college basketball. I mean, I watch the NFL and NBA, but college sports, it just like feels. I don't know. It feels different.
It feels more like unpredictable. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, because these are just like kids. Like in the NFL, like these are all pros. Like none of them are bums or anything like that because they're getting paid to do this.
Right.
And like with college, like especially if you watch like these group of 5 teams, like anything can happen. It's just super entertaining to watch. And especially college basketball, like I love the March Madness tournament because anything can happen. Like a team like Oral Roberts last year make it to the Sweet 16. It's like I love that shit, man. I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, man, because, like, I mean, we even had one time, like, it's been a while since I seen college basketball. Man, I used to watch it a lot back when I was back in, like, 2014.
Yeah.
Back when I was really heavy into basketball, back when they had, like, J.J. Redick's and like, Carmelo Anthony's and all them stuff.
Yeah.
that's like way back, man. So like, with college basketball, you always have new teams in the playoffs. It's like that's coming from like a FCS school, so to
Yeah,
speak.
and I like the
You
way
gonna
it
have
is
one like
because even these conferences like that no one even heard of before, if they win their conference, they'll get a lock to the tournament.
exactly,
And it's just great to see
cause like
because then you see a team, Oral Roberts University last year makes the Sweet 16, and like no one has ever heard of that school before, and it's
for
awesome.
real, man. It's just like not too many people ever heard of Wichita State,
Yeah, now they're
Butler,
like a bigger brand. They
Valparaiso.
get a lot of recruits.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like that's what they need to do with college football in a way, like have a bigger playoff bracket,
Yeah,
so that way it can help like other FCS college football teams get like a bigger brand and stuff like that too. Cause like there's some FCS teams that do get sponsored by Nike and Adidas and all them. Because most of the FCS schools they either get sponsored by Russell, which is like a very old school brand. Because like I remember when Connecticut in college football they were sponsored by Russell jerseys and New Balance for like football back then.
yeah,
You feel me? Because like their basketball team was just like godly. They always
yeah,
winning, but like the football team, what I'm saying, it just wasn't like on the same caliber. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like it's the same thing with Villanova and basketball. Villanova, man, they like one of the best teams like every year. You
yeah,
feel what I'm saying? And they still got their football team out there too, but they always been like the FCS school. So it's like, man, so like getting a bigger playoff bracket in college football, at least put it to 8 teams or six. Yeah, I
I
say
think
eight to
12 would be
16
good,
teams.
and then you could just give the top 4 teams a bye for the first round.
Exactly.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, that would definitely like open things up for sure because you know, cause like the undefeated teams we have now in college football, like the Road Runners, if they
They
was
would
in a
probably
twelve
get
team
in if it
playoff
was
bracket,
12.
yeah, cause like it's gonna help their brand. It's gonna get their school more recognized, like to get more recruits. You
Yeah,
feel what I'm saying? That's the reason why in college basketball, like the colleges that most individuals never heard of, that's how they be getting more recruits to go to Robert Morris, Valparaiso, Butler. You know,
yeah,
man. I mean, and here's the thing: it's like the fun fact about it, man. Their football teams, they had to discontinue a lot of their football teams due to not being good at all. Like, we talk about they can't even get a first down.
yeah.
You
UConn
know what I'm
just got their
saying? Like,
team back.
yeah, man. And that's gonna be a good story for like next season. Like okay, they got this team back, so what can they do to actually turn around? So if they since they got their team back, you know what I'm saying. If they was to get really good, I think the conference they should definitely be in. If they get really good, it would definitely be good to see them with Syracuse because they used to be in the same conference back in the Big East. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's like, just imagine a good football game between Connecticut, all the former Big East teams. It'll just be like the old times. But even during the old times, Connecticut never really had good games against those caliber of teams. You feel what I'm saying? Because most people came there for basketball, never really got football recruits. But I think, man, shit, Connecticut getting a good football team will actually be good for the school. It actually be good for the brand for NCAA.
yeah,
You feel what I'm saying?
yeah. I think they
So
have
I'll definitely
a
look
lot of
forward to that.
potential to do that because like their basketball program is so good. Like it's just
Exactly, man.
a
Like it
brand
would make no
school
sense.
for basketball. But you also think about teams like Duke. They're not real good at football either. But they're the biggest
Yeah,
brand in college basketball.
And that's the thing too, man. Because I was just gonna bring them up, because like the teams that's like very good in basketball, college basketball, man, like Kansas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like see they it's like they right there in college football, but they kind of slip away at the
They're
end.
kind of just in the power conferences because of basketball, like not really for football. But
Yep. Cause like, bro, cause like, let me tell you something, man. Cause like, it's crazy because like Kansas, like they're like for football, for like being sponsored by Adidas, like they literally have like the helmets and they have the helmets, the uniform combinations. They have that already for the football.
yeah,
The only thing they need to do now is just win. If they
they
win,
need a team now. They got everything
bro,
set up. They just need to win some
and
games.
plus they got it's crazy too. Plus, man, because I always said to myself, if they just win it in football, bro, like they'll actually be one of the biggest known universities ever. It's
Yeah,
just the same way with Duke. Duke is so big in college basketball. You know what I'm saying? If only their football team would just win. You feel what I'm saying? They be way more bigger than Alabama and Georgia, man. Because there's only a few teams that's good. They're balanced in both. Like, Ohio State is both good in basketball and football. Michigan State, they both good at football and basketball. You feel
yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's like, but like this crazy. And then here's another thing too, man. Like the teams that be kind of like borderline in college football in the SEC, like Mississippi State, they just dominated damn baseball tournaments. They
Yeah.
got their national championship.
Vanderbilt, great at baseball.
For real though, son. Like, so it'd be like it's just crazy. It's just
Vanderbilt's
crazy like how
probably
like
one of the best baseball schools in the country. That's probably why they're in the SEC.
yeah, like shit. Like it's interesting, man, because like a lot of teams, get put they get put in these Power Five conferences due to certain like type of like programs, like where it might be some teams are in the Power Five due to you know it might be some like doctors, or because some schools is good at that,
Yeah.
finding cures and all that stuff. Some teams good at baseball, swimming, track,
Yeah.
but when it comes to
Some schools
track,
have
man,
the academics, some schools have, this sport. And I think that's why it's so hard for teams to switch conferences, because you kind of got to have everything that all the other schools have in the conference. Say like you don't have a baseball program, but everyone else in that conference you're trying to join has one.
yep,
So
because
it it's like, all right, if we want to join this conference, then we gotta make a baseball team, even if it sucks.
yeah, and then they just work their way up.
Yeah,
Cause like shit, man. Cause like I tell you though, man. Cause like when you think of like colleges, like when you think of colleges like in the SEC, like they've been so good at like college football for so long. It's like they just like forget about they whole baseball team, or like the other
sports.
type of
Yeah,
squads they got. You feel what I'm saying? So,
they kind of
but
just
when it
like
comes to like
focus
track,
on one, and they don't really invest the time and money into the other ones when they could be building like an entire brand for like all the sports and just like become even better. Like you look at a team
right?
like Alabama, they invest everything into that football program. But like I feel like
Exactly.
especially with Nick Saban, like you don't really have to like put too much more into that because like it's already secure. and you could move on to basketball, baseball, whatever, and kind of
Right.
expand it.
Yeah, man, because, when it comes to like track and field, basically it's like a toss up for like a lot of schools because like track and field is like, almost every college team's track and field is like equally good
Yeah,
because you can hardly even tell the difference. You feel what I'm saying? Especially if you got a race, folks that be running track at these different colleges yourself, just to see how good he is. You feel me? So, and then like, when you see track and field, it's like, damn, like, so like if you see one who always get first place at a certain school, it's like, dang, so they really put all their focus on track and field. These people run super fast, like we talking like 26 miles per hour on the
jeez.
field. Like, it's crazy though, man. I remember the last time, and I hardly ever watched track and field college, but the last time I looked into it, I saw one guy from Georgia, like he would basically be smoking the competition every time.
Yeah,
Like, he talking about he like he don't have jets on his legs. Like he got like he has something that's of the multiverse basically. Like he always be smoking the comedy. He get first place every time, man.
man.
And they even said he go race against Usain Bolt already. So it's like track and field be like a toss up, where it's like, with the colleges and everything. But man, I tell you though, man, like shit, next week though, man, like I'll definitely looking forward to like the Nets call in, because like one thing I'm gonna definitely talk about the Purdue versus Ohio State game. I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that game the most, like, this week, because like that, to me, that would be the headline game, because folks, I mean, they trying to like have the narrative with Ohio State, still that team,
And
but
Purdue
Purdue
already
is
beaten
actually
two
going to
top
come up
teams
though,
this year. Yeah,
for
they're the
real.
Giant Killers. That's definitely a story. I'm probably gonna have. Well, I'm gonna have one or the other. Saturday night, I might stream, or I'm gonna have a video out where I just kind of talk about all the games, like as a recap video.
Yep,
So I'm gonna start doing that every Saturday night. So um, I'll be talking about all the results to the games.
indeed. Yeah, man, because like,
You there? I can't hear you.
like, I feel like the Roadrunners could like easily just like win the rest of their games this season. So I ain't got like see the rest of their game, but it could get a surprise though,
Yeah.
because they played Southern Miss like this weekend, and Southern Miss, they have not been good since Brett Favre. They they have not been good since like Brett Favre was like playing at that school.
Yeah. I definitely think the Red Runners will go undefeated. I thought their only shot at losing really was to Texas El Paso
UTEP,
last week, and they blew them
yeah,
out. I was surprised. I was expecting that game to be
yeah,
close.
yeah, because like we look at the closest, but it's crazy because the only game they almost lost to was like Western Kentucky, and Western Kentucky, that's like a one double A school.
Yeah.
But like other competition, you feel what I'm saying? They stepped it up, and
They beat
they
Illinois
they they beat
this year.
exactly. Yeah, that was a close game too. So it's like, yeah, San Antonio Roadrunner, they actually pretty good. I mean, if you could beat a Big Ten school, man,
Yeah,
if
Big
you could
Ten
be a
school
Big
that
Ten school
knocked
like
off
Illinois, man,
Minnesota and Penn State this year.
yep,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
all
'cause
right.
that's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's crazy though, man. Like, 'cause if you could beat a Big Ten school like Illinois, like, a team that's always like in the middle of the conference every year, that's automatic a success story right there if you're the Roadrunners, because
Yeah.
that's a good team to beat.
Yeah, if they go
To actually,
undefeated, they gotta make a New Year's Six bowl. I think
For
like
real
I
though.
want to see them go against one of these top 10 teams, or at least a top 15 team, like a Power 5 top 15 team, and just see how they do.
For real though. Yeah,
And if
man.
they win
For
that,
real
that's
though.
huge for the program because then they complete the undefeated season, and then they got like probably the biggest win in their program history.
Yeah, man, because like, Coastal Carolina, they did like years ago, when they played against BYU, their biggest win in their history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And BYU was like a Mountain West school originally. So, Coastal Carolina getting that win, that actually helped them like, get more notice like this season, even though they have one loss. But, I think they'll be back next season though. They're gonna be back next season. They're gonna be better. But like, but the thing is, like, they will probably have some players leaving there. So it's like, keeping up that same momentum will be interesting. They could do it with the new players they got coming in.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
for
man,
sure.
like shit, I tell you, man. And then we got Temple versus Houston though, man. Like,
That could
Houston
be
just gonna have to
sneaky,
win this
but
game.
I really want Houston to win out until the Cincinnati game. I want to see them
For real.
go at it with everything on the line right there.
Yeah, that's gonna be the game right there, man. That's gonna be the
Yeah,
1-on-ones right there.
I
And
think
then like shit, like,
I think Houston has a shot at Cincy, but I just want Cincinnati to go undefeated so bad. Like I want to see them in the playoff. Like that's the main thing for me. No matter what, I just want to see
for
Cincinnati in the
real.
playoff.
Yeah, like, cause like I tell you, like if it's any team I want to win the whole thing this year, I actually want Cincinnati to win the whole thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean they
that's who
showed
I'm
they showed
cheering
they
for
can
this
beat.
year, just as an underdog story, and just like it would be great to see
For real.
because we'd never seen
For
a
real.
group of five team like that win a championship.
Yeah, and it's been a long time since that happened too, because like
Yeah,
the only time a non-Power Five school actually won national championship, that's like, man, that's like in the 1900s,
yeah,
1920s, and like all the way back, and when football was like started and everything. It's
yeah.
crazy
It's
too because
crazy.
Rutgers they got a lot of national championships actually when they first started, and that was like way back, man.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't keep that program going, or
For real, sad.
I mean, even a team like
And then,
Nebraska, they dominated like in the '90s, early 2000s, and then just look at their program now. It's just, I mean, they play teams close like we talked about earlier, but they just haven't been that good the last 10 years or so.
yeah, cause man, like I tell you, man, like that'd be a crazy story if Rutgers actually do magically turn around that season and they actually do become an actual good team. Like that'll be something else, man. Cause then
Yeah,
like it'll be just like a whole Coastal Carolina story, except they actually are in a Power Five conference. So it's crazy because if they actually turn around, they can actually win the games. They actually have a huge shot to get in the playoffs because you're in the Power Five conference. All you have to do is win because you ain't got to worry about being snubbed out the playoffs. If you do go undefeated, where like Cincinnati, they have to play every game like it's a national championship and got a whole team under like 20 points each game just to win.
yeah,
Because one loss would just take them out. So Rutgers, that's the only thing they have going for them is being in Power Five conference. Because before then, they was even in the Big East, and if they don't win, if they one loss in the season, they already out that shit. So
exactly. Like they've
it's
dropped
like,
so much if they lost a game. They dropped Cincinnati so much. Because you look at where
for
Houston,
real,
I'm not even sure where they put Houston, but they got one loss and they ain't near the top 10.
yeah. they had like Houston at number 17,
Uh,
and
that's better than I thought they'd put him at, but
yeah, because they right behind Auburn, and Auburn's like 6-3.
yeah,
You feel me?
yeah.
So I'm like, man, all because Auburn's in the SEC, I get it, but like still, man, like
That's so they can put
I feel
Alabama
like
at number 2. Boost all these SEC
yeah,
teams up.
for real. And it's crazy too because like Auburn they play Mississippi State like this week. You feel me? So and that's like a whole trap game for Auburn because Mississippi State they beat Kentucky, so like I think Auburn will take care of business and not repeat the same mistake that Kentucky did. Even though it probably will be like a close game, like 2 touchdowns or more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Auburn will win by like 2 touchdowns or something like that because they ain't gonna let Mississippi State like get momentum. That's one thing a lot
I
of
think
teams
Auburn will beat Mississippi State, and I'm excited to see the Iron Bowl, man. Like it would be crazy if Auburn beat them this year, and I think this is the year it could happen. Like again, I mean, it's not real crazy to think Auburn can beat Alabama because they've done it so many times now.
Yeah,
like it's really been a back and forth rivalry. It hasn't really been one-sided the past few years.
For real though, because after that, it's another game too that's intriguing. After Alabama plays New Mexico State, they do play Arkansas, and Arkansas had a good year earlier this season. They had a good season. You feel what I'm saying? They then kind of lost in the rankings a little bit.
Yeah.
But Arkansas has a shot of beating them too. If they can like somehow magically get back to early season form.
Yeah, they were having a great season. I think they just kind of hit a rough patch.
They
of
fizzled
games.
out. Yeah, I think they after that Georgia game, they ain't like look the same, man. I don't know what it is, man. But like
whoever plays Georgia, they just don't look the same after. I mean, it's for some reason.
It's crazy though, son.
Clemson like doesn't look the same. Kentucky, Arkansas. I mean,
it's crazy though, son. See, Arkansas might probably wake up when they play Alabama again. They probably be like, okay, so to make this a real successful season, so we can at least make it interesting versus Alabama and actually get a victory. If they get a victory on Alabama, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna look really good for them and be like more than a success story because even though they didn't beat Georgia, at least they did beat Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Arkansas probably gonna be looking good next year too.
I think so.
I don't see them like being like the top team in the SEC.
Yeah, I don't
due
see
to
them
Texas
being
A&M.
like that, but they definitely are looking better than what they have been the last few years, which is at the bottom of the SEC.
Yeah, it's crazy though, man. Cause it'd be crazy if Arkansas do get players like a Darren McFadden for their team again, because he was crazy in Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know where he got speed from, but man, it was crazy when he was playing for him. But yo, man, I tell you though, man, if it's any teams that is gonna beat Alabama for the rest of the season, it would be Arkansas, and that most definitely Auburn, because shit, I mean, they always have a chance of beating them every year because they rivals.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though, man. Like shit, I actually hope Auburn does do it for the sake of Texas A&M.
Yeah.
So Texas A&M can like play Georgia in the SEC championship game. I wouldn't mind Ole Miss winning Texas A&M, and they be the ones to play Georgia, because that would be curious to see though. To see if Ole Miss did actually change anything from early season.
Yeah.
But one thing for sure though, man. one thing for sure, like next season, like Texas A&M, like when they do play Arkansas again, they definitely gonna scratch that game on the board
Yeah, they're
and
gonna
get
come
that
into that game
victory.
pissed. They're gonna be.
Yeah. I know they was I know they was hoping them to like win the rest of their games like the whole season so they can get revenge, but they gotta hope wait till next year now cause like man that's gonna be a fun game to watch next season though,
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
like cause like when it came to the Big 12, the teams I would always root for will always be like Texas A&M, yeah, them, Iowa State. You know what I'm saying? Just because, like, yo, I mean, I just always like to see like the underdogs of the conference, like actually, get the victory over the ones who was like always favored. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I do the
So it's
same
like,
thing.
man, it's it. And one thing for sure, I do want to see next year, man. Like, I hope, I hope, I hope West Virginia actually do have a better season next year and actually play to their potential. Cause like man, to actually have a season, a Cinderella season where you can at least where they can at least get to a bowl game and they probably be finish the season like 9-2 or something like that, and they actually turn it around, and then that makes it good for the next season after that too, because
Yeah,
West Virginia being good again will be good for the Big 12, especially when you got Cincinnati coming in too.
yeah,
So then you're gonna have like the Big East rivalry again with Cincinnati and West Virginia.
yeah.
You feel me?
I'm hoping that once Oklahoma and Texas leaves, I'm hoping my boys West Virginia just emerge as like the new top team of the conference. Like I want that so bad.
Yeah. It's crazy too, man. It's crazy too. That was suck because Oklahoma had to when they had to leave. I actually wanted Oklahoma. I was hoping Oklahoma stayed just so West Virginia could actually get good and they actually beat them.
Yeah, we have not beat
Cause
Oklahoma
that would
since
be
we joined
good.
the Big 12.
Like
It's crazy.
that would be so good, bro. For real.
We did beat Oklahoma in the 2007 Fiesta Bowl, though.
Yep.
That's
And
something.
that was like when they was in the Big East too.
Yeah,
Cause like man, I tell you though, man, I tell you like if you get Houston, Cincinnati in the Big 12, and then we had like those teams being good along with West Virginia, that's gonna be
and you
like
still got
definitely
teams like
good.
Oklahoma State, Baylor. I mean,
Yep.
teams like that will be good.
Yeah, that's actually gonna be good for the. That's actually gonna be good for like the TV ratings because like if you can get new teams to actually be like the new face of the conference, that's gonna have more people watching join in. I
Yeah,
could definitely understand why some folks stop watching the NFL or stop watching the NBA because it will always be like the same teams like you know winning like a championship. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I mean, so it's like my whole reason why I always stay glued to college football and college basketball because there's always could be a potential new team that could actually be like the face of the NCAA or just their conference. You feel what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like, but yeah, man, that's interesting though, man. Like, but man, if it's any team, if it's any team that this would have been a good toss up right here. If you had actually, if they had put West Virginia or Cincinnati in the Big Ten, both of them in the Big Ten, that would be interesting right there because Cincinnati gets to play the Buckeyes, you know, each season, and plus them being in the same in-state rivalry, that makes total sense.
I would love to see
Uh,
Cincinnati play Ohio State this year.
yeah, and then West Virginia playing like teams like Indiana and Illinois, that should be some good games, and like that should be like a good rivalry for like West Virginia because since they're already close to each other, you
Yeah,
know,
teams
so it
like
would make sense.
Maryland right there. Penn
Yeah.
State's close.
Yeah, that should be good though, man. Like shit, that actually made sense. It actually makes sense, just like West Virginia being an ACC. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it the only I have no idea why West Virginia ever joined the Big 12. Like, it makes zero sense. We go and play all these Midwest teams and play all these Texas teams. It really doesn't make any sense.
exactly, man. especially when they never had no like real improvement to like actually become like
We have
contender.
no rivalries in this conference right now. Like, it's crazy. We got
For
to play
real.
our rivalries in the non-conference games.
I know it don't make it never made sense once the committees had made that move. It's like the only time West Virginia could actually play like like the actual rivals in the championship. It would have to be like in a championship game or something like that if they was to even get good and make it out there. You feel what I'm saying? Like
Or a bowl
the only
game.
rivalry game they have would be like Cincinnati or something like that, because they was like in the same conference once upon a time, or Louisville or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy because Louisville in the ACC too, so you know.
Yeah, the
that'd be
ACC is
good
where
right there.
all our old Big East rivals are.
Yep.
That's where we should have been.
Man, I don't know. It's crazy though, man. I actually love to see that though. They actually did they did revamp the conferences, like to actually make it make sense.
Yeah.
When they add the new playoff brackets, like a 12 team.
I would love to see that.
That's definitely going to, like, really, that's going to have everything like all balanced again. You feel what I'm saying? Because, like, they have it all over the place now. They got I mean, I would understand, like, Texas A&M, man, being the SEC. It's fun seeing them in the SEC just to see, like, how they stand out.
But they're going to have Texas and
that's the
Oklahoma
thing
back
with
in there, too, with them. Old Big 12 rivalries.
Yep.
So.
Yep. For real, though, man. Shit, I actually want to see Nebraska and I would actually want to see Nebraska and Texas A&M back in the Big 12. So that way, like, it just had that nostalgia feel to it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like we actually get the actual.
For sure.
Cause like that's the only reason. To be honest, that's the only reason Oklahoma getting their Big 12 championship game, because Texas A&M not in there. That's the only reason why they've been so damn good. Cause you took some teams out that could have beat you.
Yeah.
It's like, man, bro.
It's like Oklahoma just been dominating the Big 12 year after year.
For real, though.
Every once in a while you'll have a team come up and, give them their best shot. Like this year it's going to be Oklahoma State. A couple years ago it was TCU. But Baylor's had some good teams. But Oklahoma always gets it done. That's why I don't like being in the Big 12 at all. Like, we got Oklahoma winning football every year, and we got Kansas winning basketball every year.
Yeah. For real, though, son. Like, man, I'm going to tell you, man, like, it's crazy, though, son. Like, bro, like, it's just like, man. It's just like, man, because, like, every time in the Big 12, bro, like, it seems like Oklahoma, like, they literally walk their way right into, like, the Big 12 championship with ease, bro. It's like they just walk into the end zone getting the touchdown. That's how easy it is for them to get there. But, like, finally this year, about time, somebody actually, got better, like Oklahoma State. I feel like that's going to be the team to actually do it.
I hope
we
so.
finally get somebody new. It'll be about time. I'll be shocked, though. Yeah. I'll be shocked if Oklahoma students, like, start magically playing better football at the end of the season. I'll be like, where was this early season? If they was to actually blow out Oklahoma State, which I don't see.
I
I don't
don't see
see it
that happening. I think Oklahoma State's got
because
a really good defense.
man, bro, I'll tell you though, son, like, bro, when Oklahoma State actually do beat Oklahoma this year, bro, like, that's gonna be every team in the conference gonna be celebrating because nobody else had a chance to beat them this year. So they rooting for Oklahoma State to actually get the victory. You feel what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
like,
I think
Baylor has
everyone that's a fan of a Big 12 team is rooting for Oklahoma State to beat Oklahoma. Like,
for real
we
though.
just want to see someone new, and it was
For real though,
like
because
that last year. I mean, I finally seen someone other than Kansas win in basketball because Baylor beat them, and Baylor won the national championship last year for basketball. It was just great
yeah,
to see that. Yo, man, I think I'm gonna hop off this stream.
yeah. See, I'm about to hop off too, man. Cause like, man, I tell you though, man, it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be lit. Like when we do this again on Thursday, though,
Yes,
man.
sir. Same time next week, man. Um,
Yeah,
we're
most
gonna do
definitely.
this. I'm not sure if I'm streaming Saturday night. It might just be a video, but definitely gonna have something out here Saturday night. Uh, just talk about the games. They just talk about the results of them and stuff.
Oh yeah, most definitely for sure.
All right, man. Thanks for calling, man. Yeah, a lot of great topics. I appreciate it a ton. Kept the stream going.
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's an honor for sure, man. You know, man, shit, like it's all about having it's all about having a small subscriber page. Is like get recognition because we
Exactly,
do be
man.
having like the most intriguing topics because ESPN don't be talking about this right here.
Exactly,
Like
and
they
even if I
and it's
start to
crazy too.
grow, like I'm gonna remember you, all these subs here in the chat, like over anyone else, and like even if I get big, I'm still gonna be talking about all these smaller schools like we do because they deserve some recognition.
For real, man. Like,
And I just love
cause
everything about college sports. So like just talking with you and just talking with all my subs, it's really fun for me.
most definitely, man. For sure, man. And like shit, I tell you this too, man. Like because especially like especially like when you just have like great conversations about anything with subscribers. You feel what I'm saying? It like literally takes you like to a whole nother world, like a whole nother multiverse. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said,
It
you're
feels
from up there towards Oregon, Northern California, and stuff. Like that's on the whole other side of the
yeah,
country, and like I'd love to see all my subs like different perspectives about like what happened in college football because like even though we be watching the same games, like everybody has their own opinions on what they seen.
right. For sure, man. Most definitely, man. Well, man, I'll definitely catch you around sometime whenever you do another stream for sure. Cause I set the notification bells to like ring every time you make a video. So I'll definitely be tuned in for sure.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, we'll be back on the stream definitely next Thursday, and then Saturday night it'll either be a stream or a video. Not sure yet. But
Most
definitely
definitely,
next
man.
Thursday will be a stream. We're gonna do this every Thursday.
Most definitely, man. Shit. Well, I'm about to hop off, man.
All right,
Shit,
see you,
you
man.
enjoy the
Thanks for
rest of your
calling.
night.
Yeah, you too,
All
man.
right,
Have
you
a
too,
great
man.
night.
All right.
Man, that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great conversations there. Not sure if we have anyone still in the chat. It is getting pretty late. I'm gonna go over some of these comments. We got a lot of them. Yo, what's up, Mike? I was reading your comments while, um, all your guys' comments while I was talking. Um, yo, thanks for saying I was growing, man. Drake, you still think the 12-team bracket is the way to go? That's what I'm saying, man. Just give the four top teams the bye. You know, let all the conference champions have a lock to the playoff, and then the top group of 5 team have a lock to the playoffs. I think that would be perfect. Kentucky dominant in basketball, almost there in football. Yeah, man, they're looking real good in basketball this year. I watched the Kentucky Duke game, and even though they lost, they were looking pretty good. Yo, what's up, Mike? You know it's late, but back east, yeah, it's 12:30. I'm probably gonna hop off the stream here in a couple minutes. I'll talk with y'all a little bit in chat. Thinking about doing a stream Saturday night. Not sure if it's gonna be a stream or just a video recapping all the games. I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely something's coming Saturday night. Either way, we'll be back Thursday night next week for another stream. It sucks me I had to split this into 2 parts because while I was in the middle of streaming, it ended there, and I had to restart it. But that's all right. I'm gonna keep growing. I got a lot of things coming. I'm gonna have a new camera soon, so the quality on the streams and the videos are gonna start looking a lot better. So that's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna get a new camera soon. I'm gonna put some more editing into my videos here real soon. I mean, we're growing a lot, so like it's really motivating me, and just having like all my subs here in the chat and calling me, having great conversations about football, just like it's really motivating. So I really do appreciate all you guys, because we're really doing good. Thoughts on the Wake NC State game? Man, I talked about it a little bit in my picks video, but yeah, I think that one really is like a 50-50 toss-up. I know Wake's at home for this game. Excuse me. So Wake's defense is just not that good. NC State, though, they're sneaky. Like, I really don't know who to pick in that game. I think it's going to be a shootout. Take the over. Like, every Wake game the past few weeks, I've just been crazy. High-scoring games. I think Wake will end up winning. I think Wake will get a bounce-back win here. They just can't let it get into their head. Like, I say this about a lot of teams, sometimes they'll lose one and then they'll let it get to their head. Like, man, our season's over. Like, our undefeated season is over, but like, they can still have like a very good season with a 1-loss team. Like, they are still in the race to win the ACC. So they got to put that loss to North Carolina behind them and just focus on what they have ahead and try to win the ACC, because they still have a legit shot at it. I'm convinced Georgia's D is still giving Will Levis nightmares. I mean, he must be, right? I'm not sure if it's like Will Levis just like having nightmares about it, or if it's just that Georgia figured him out and then other teams started doing the same thing to him, like putting pressure on him and just making him turn the ball over. Or it could be a little bit of both. So I just don't know what happened to Will Levis, man. He was playing so great like at the beginning of the season. It's basically at the ACC ship semifinal. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely look at it that way, because whoever wins this game could be heading to the ACC championship game. It's definitely one of the games I'm more excited to see this weekend. I'm really excited to see the A&M versus Ole Miss game, and also that NC State Wake game. So there's a probably, unless I'm forgetting one, the Purdue Ohio State game. I gotta be excited for that one. I mean, we got the Giant Killers going into Columbus. Yo, what's up, Coach? Yo, this live stream legendary. Enjoyed conversating with you. And Texas A&M and Ole Miss will look good next year. Kentucky need to just win out. LOL. And ain't looked the same since Georgia. Yeah, thank you, Coach Yo, for talking on me. Like, we literally just ran that conversation for like over an hour. Like, I'm not even sure how much time it was, But like we should just like go back and forth and just I feel like we could have talked all day. Like we really just like it's fun talking about college football with people just because like I love the sport so much and just so many things that we can talk about. So yeah, I really appreciate you calling up here and talking with me and just kept this live stream going. So like I really appreciate you. Notre Dame UVA, that'll be a good one too. Yeah, that was one of my upset picks. I'm not sure if Brennan Armstrong is gonna be playing. Like in my picks video, I kind of got a couple hate by some people for picking Virginia in that one. But like, come on, I wanted to get an upset pick in here. I don't want to pick all the favorites. But yeah, if Brennan Armstrong isn't playing for Virginia, I don't think that they'll have a chance. But if he's playing, then he's a great quarterback. Like he could be the next. Well, like I'm just saying this because they both have red hair or orange hair, but he could be the next Red Rocket, be the next Andy Dalton. I mean, Brennan Armstrong is a beast. I think they can knock off Notre Dame if Brennan Armstrong is playing. So like, yeah, some people were giving me a lot of hate for that pick, but like, come on, I didn't want to pick all the favorites all the time. That's boring. The smaller programs appreciate it too, like people talking about us. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of a smaller program myself, so I'm always looking out to, I have a heart, so like I just like human nature, I like to cheer for the underdogs. So up to this point, what team is the most overrated and underrated? For me, overrated Iowa, and yeah, they started 6-0, but the two teams they really put in that span are Iowa State, which they're only beat by 10, and Penn State, which they only beat by 3 after Sean Clifford went down and getting out the rest of the game extremely early. Underrated Marshall, they have won the games they were supposed to, and they weren't close in their losses. And they weren't close in their losses. It was games where they weren't supposed to win, and their largest loss was only by 4 to East Carolina. I completely agree with those picks. Like Iowa, I didn't even have them ranked in my this week's top 25 video. Like, and they should probably be ranked, but like I've given up on Iowa. Like I think they're not gonna win the Big Ten West. I think either Wisconsin or Purdue will win that. I just think that they're gonna lose a couple more games here in the next few weeks. Iowa, they play Minnesota this week. I think I picked Minnesota to win that game, but like I don't trust Minnesota all that much either. So it's kind of iffy, but yeah, I definitely agree with you on the fact that Iowa's overrated, and Marshall as well. I agree with you on that one too. I mean, one of their losses is to Appalachian State, and that was like a really good game. And I've been watching a lot of Marshall this year. I cheer for Marshall. They're the only other FBS team in West Virginia other than WVU. So yeah, I cheer for them. And I definitely would agree with you. All their games have been, all their losses have been very close. In your opinion, Iowa is way overrated. Was big fan, got exposed. Yeah, I'm guilty of hopping on the Iowa train, and that's just because I like to see like random teams like that just kind of do very well. But yeah, I'm definitely off that train. Like I agree with you guys 100%. I think they're overrated. I didn't even have them ranked this week. Like, I'm gonna probably hop off the stream here in like 10 minutes. I'll give it 10 more minutes. So, if you guys want to ask me like kind of your final questions, I'll kind of go through them, and then I'll hop off the stream for tonight because I gotta get up a little bit early in the morning, so I gotta hop off here soon. So I'll stay on for another 10 minutes or so and answer your last questions, and then probably hop off. Notre Dame and Virginia will be intriguing. The Cavaliers have a chance. Iowa looks shaky compared to Purdue and Wisconsin overall, to me, regardless of record. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think Notre Dame, Virginia can be a good one, especially because I think it is in Charlottesville. I don't think it's in South Bend. And, yeah, it's just crazy to me. I think it was just Notre Dame fans that were giving me the hate, which is understandable because you don't want anybody pick against your team, especially whenever they're favorited. So I get that, but I definitely believe that Virginia has a chance. As long as their quarterback is playing, Brandon Armstrong is a beast, and for Iowa, They definitely don't look like the 6-0 team they started out as. And, I was skeptical for about Iowa after that Penn State win because at this point, I definitely 100% believe if Sean Clifford didn't get injured in that game, Penn State would have won. And they'd be sitting right there at 6-3 with Wisconsin, Purdue, and Minnesota. And that's why one of my favorite picks of the week is Minnesota over Iowa for the week. Danny, any thoughts on the Raging Cajuns? Only lost to Texas. Yeah, they've been playing really good. Their best win against Appalachian State, where they blew them out. That was a great game. I've been looking forward to a rematch between Appalachian State and Louisiana because I think it's going to be a really good game in the Sun Belt Championship if they both make it there, which I think they will. And I think Appalachian State is going to play them a lot closer and maybe even beat them in that game. And it's crazy because Louisiana lost that game to Texas, and then they kind of just everybody forgot about them. But last year they were good. This year they're still good. They only have the one loss, so yeah, they've been playing great. They had a couple of close games though the past 2 weeks. They had a close one against Arkansas State, and whoever they played last week, it was a close game as well. So yeah, they kind of remind me a little bit of Cincinnati the past few weeks, where they have been undefeated in their conference, but they've just been playing a couple of teams they should have blown out a little bit too close. At this point, I'd say Kentucky is overrated. What would your choice for game of the week be, and what would your keys to winning be for said game? For me, it's Texas A&M and Ole Miss. My keys to success is Matt Corral. Can he get it going early, or can A&M defense slow him down? Yo, see you, Mike. I see you around, man. Thanks for joining the stream and hanging out. I appreciate you, man. But Drake, my game of the week is probably the same. I would say Texas A&M Ole Miss. That's the one I'm most excited for. Because I've been talking about all week, defense versus offense, what's going to show up. My thing is, Matt Corral didn't have the best game against Alabama this year whenever Ole Miss lost to Alabama. So I was I think Texas A&M's defense is one of the best in the country. So it really has me thinking that that Texas A&M is going to win this game. So I think the keys to success gotta be for Ole Miss. It's going to be tough, but maybe even try to get a run game going. And it doesn't have to necessarily be with Snoop Connor, the running back. It could be with Matt Corral. I mean, we seen against Tennessee, Matt Corral is dangerous scrambling with the football. So I think they need to maybe even get some designed quarterback runs in there, and maybe help push the ball downfield and get some points up, especially early, like you said. And then also Ole Miss, I think one of their keys to success in this game is even though the Texas A&M has a good defense, Ole Miss's offense is so good, they're going to put some points on the board. So I think Ole Miss has to slow down Texas A&M's offense enough to just kind of outscore Texas A&M. So if they can slow them down, maybe just force Texas A&M to take field goals, like bend but don't break. I think that's what Ole Miss needs to focus on, because Ole Miss doesn't have a good enough defense to where they can just like completely shut down Texas A&M. So I think they need to take the bend but don't break method and just kind of like, give them a little bit of yards, maybe let them get some first downs, try to force a turnover, but do not let them in the end zone. Give up 3 points every once in a while. It would be okay because your offense is that good, and you can maybe outscore them that way. As far as for Texas A&M, I think it would be the exact opposite. I mean, you got to execute if you get into the red zone, especially if they are bending and not breaking. So you definitely got to execute when you get into the red zone. And you also got to try to find a way, like you said, Drake, to slow down Matt Corral. And if you can do that, I think the Aggies will win if they slow down Matt Corral. So that would probably be my keys to success for that game. It's definitely the game I'm most excited for. I just want to see how these teams play each other, because it is offense versus defense. So, yeah. I think that is going to do it. Do we have any more questions? I'll wait like another minute if you guys have any more. If not, we'll be back Thursday night next week. Same time. We did a little bit earlier this week. We went 9:30 all the way to 12:30. So we actually did a 3-hour stream in total. I know one of them got disconnected, so it's kind of in 2 parts. But it was a 3-hour stream, so it was a ton of fun hanging out with you guys. We'll be back 10:30 to 12 for sure. I mean, you never know. I might hop on here early next week again. But yeah, it's been fun. We might be live Saturday night. If we're not live, then there'll definitely be a video posted just on my thoughts on the main games, like just the results and stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to do it for the stream. Thanks you for everyone who came out. Mike, Drake, Cold Shield. I really appreciate all you guys. So we'll be back at it next week. So see you guys.